Hey everyone, so today I'm actually going to be doing a review on Sigma brushes. A very kind YouTuber wrote to Sigma about my channel, and in the post I received some brushes from them. So I'd like to show you what I've got and give you my thoughts on the brand and the product. The first thing is I don't get a huge amount of stuff sent to me free. And when I do, it's always elation because it's great to get stuff free. But at the same time, I always feel bad because I really want to give an honest opinion. And sometimes I don't like certain products. And so with that said, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think as if I bought them myself and just be as honest as I can. So the first thing that I got was a brush roll that contained a full set of brushes, which is amazing, right? So I'll show you what I got. Actually, I'll show you the roll and then I'll go through the brushes, okay? So there they are, which is great. So I got a stippling brush, which is the smaller version. I got a contouring brush or a buffer brush, however you want to look at it. Powder brush. Larger stippling brush. A angled blush brush or contour brush, foundation, eyeshadow or a lay-down brush as they're actually called, an angled eyeshadow brush, a blender brush, pencil brush, another eyeshadow brush that could also be used as a concealer brush, concealer brush, and lastly two eyeliner brushes which also could be used for eyebrows. So that's the brush roll, and I'll talk about these first. The first thing I noticed was that when I did this with the two brushes here, that there was some shedding, and I always like to, when I get a brush, like to go through it like this with my finger and see if there's any shedding, and you can see that there is a small amount of shedding, which is the first thing I noticed. And fair enough, maybe the batch, this was a slightly different batch. You never know with brushes because sometimes they do shed. Providing they don't shed a lot, don't worry about it. I did use these and they did shed a bit, and that's to be expected. But because of the price of these, it kind of still makes it good value for money, but they did shed. Again, stippling brushes shedded also. The black hairs were coming out and are when I do this, so that's a bit of a shame. But again, price very good. The contour brush didn't shed, the cheek brush, however you want to look at it. So that's great, and this is so incredibly soft. Same with the eyeshadows brushes, they didn't shed. I've used them, brilliant. And the same with the foundation brush, that didn't shed either, so that's really good. I wasn't particularly impressed with the pencil brush. The head of it kind of comes out and then goes into a point, which I'm not particularly fond of. It may be a bad batch, but this is going to go out of shape so easily when it's washed. So I wasn't overly impressed with this. And with the angle eyeshadow brush, it's actually too long and too splayed, that I would have preferred it a much shorter and firmer bristle. Obviously this is basically the MAC 224. Never liked the MAC 224 and not overly fond of this one, but if you do like the brush, this is obviously a knockoff and it's perfectly acceptable for the eye. It's basically exactly the same. So that's what I think of the brush roll. I also received a kabuki brush, and this is very soft. It's not as soft as some of them, but it's still pretty good, and it didn't shed, so that's great. Good for buffing on bronzer, mineral eyeshadow, etc. Mineral foundation. I also got a kabuki in a little retractable one, and again, this is incredibly soft. I really like this, and no shedding. Kabuki brushes, as you know, powder, mineral, foundation, bronzers, highlighters, depends on how you want to use them. So that's the brushes I got. They also very kindly sent me some makeup, and I'll show you what it is. So this is a blush and highlighter palette, and I'll talk you through them. The first shade here is Not Fade Away, And this is a great colour, but it's incredibly chalky. So it's just incredibly flyaway. I don't know if you can see that, but you kind of knock the hand and most of it comes off, or a lot of it sort of flakes off. And when you blend it like this, it's gone. So that's a shame because it's a great colour. The highlighter here, which is called, or it's actually a blush, Some Girls, is very pretty. It's like a peachy colour, which is this colour, beautiful. Now this colour here is called Ruby Tuesday, and it's basically a knockoff of NARS Craze, which was discontinued. If you like NARS Craze, you will absolutely love this. Again, incredibly pigmented, but again, the same problem is that when you kind of blend it, it just doesn't, it's not as great, but it's a beautiful colour. Gold highlighter here, which is Moonlight Mile, and I'll put that there. And you can just sort of barely see it shimmering away, but it is pretty. I also got some eyeshadows. So we've got the first one here, which I'm going to switch on my hand. There it is. Second one, I'll tell you the names in a minute. Third, and lastly the fourth. So there they are, and the fourth one is right here by my knuckle. I might do that again for you, I'll do it here. So the fourth one, which is Angie, this one is here. It's pretty pale, you can barely see it, but it is shimmery. The second one along is Angie. No, it's not, it's Indian Girl, I'm sorry, Indian Girl. We've then got Brown Sugar, and lastly Brown Eyed Girl. Now these eyeshadows are all shimmery, so I can't comment on the matte shades, but they are all quite beautiful. They're not as crumbly as the blushes were, so I actually would recommend these. I wouldn't buy them because I've got so many, but I think they're really, really nice. I'd like to see more matte shades, I'll be honest. I personally feel that the only shade in your eyeshadow that should be shimmery should be the highlight on your actual eyelid. The rest I think looks better matte, but again, that's my preference. So to round up, thank you for sending me them, because I'm really, you know, I was very touched. It's very nice, and I've got a lot here, so I'm incredibly grateful. I think for the price point, they're incredibly good. I have, as I said, noticed shedding. I've also, which is, it's just a bit of a pain because you know that when you wash them, they're going to shed more. But again, you've got to look at the price point. The price point is really, really reasonable for these brushes. So I think expect some shedding and know you're kind of getting what you pay for. And that's a good thing, because these are, I've known brushes in the £50 range that shed. So, you know, it may just be a bad batch in both cases, who knows. But I think that they're a great company. Obviously all MAC knockoffs in terms of size and shape, but that's fine, that's great. Eyeshadows, again, get a thumbs up. Blushes are in the neutral range. I think the colours are beautiful, but they're a bit chalky and a bit flaky, and that's a problem because you'll go through them super quick and you'll never be happy with them on your face. That's my review. Thanks very much for listening to me, and I hope I've been as honest as I could be about these products. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.